Hi guys, welcome back or welcome to DreamWorks Switch to Life. And in today's video, we're going to be reviewing one of my favorite Christmas specials of all time. That of course being Dragon's Gift of the Night Fury, a Christmas special from the How to Train Your Dragon franchise. Or maybe I shouldn't say Christmas, maybe I should say Snoggletog.
Why we chose such a stupid name remains a mystery.
Now I really love this short film for multiple reasons. First off, it felt like the next continuation in the How to Train Your Dragon franchise. People are beginning to show how much they care about their dragons and how much sad they can be when they're not there. And along with this, they're also showcasing some How to Train Your Dragon lore. Like without this, we wouldn't know that dragon eggs explode. Along with this, it actually felt like a How to Train Your Dragon Christmas special, and that's really important. I also really loved it because it brought back the humor that we got from the original film. Again, it's not as dark, but you expect that in the Christmas special. But it brought back the humor, it brought back the voice actors, and it brought back the animation quality, and I just love that. Honestly, this might actually be my favorite out of the How to Train Your Dragon short films. So now it's time to dive into the story. So this is the first Snoggletog that the Vikings are celebrating after making peace with the dragons. Now dragons are living among them. Unfortunately, the celebrations are cut short when the dragon migration begins. It turns out that the dragons go somewhere every year, and Snoggletog just so happens to be that time of year. So the Vikings are all getting sad and miserable because all of their dragons left them. Except for Toothless, who apparently can't fly without Hiccup. So Astrid comes up with the plan to come up with a bunch of new Snoggletog traditions so that they can bury the sadness, while Hiccup comes up with a way to make it so that Toothless can actually fly on his own by giving him a prosthetic tail. Of course, once that actually happens, Toothless ends up flying away and he doesn't come back. And this, of course, causes Hiccup to be sad, and Stoic and Hiccup have a father-son bonding moment where they talk about what happens when our loved ones can't be here for the holidays. We celebrate them. And of course, they're talking about Toothless, but I'm pretty sure they're also talking about Hiccup's mother, who ended up, spoiler alert, dying a long time ago. And I really love this heart-to-heart that they have. But, of course, Hiccup tries to figure out why Fishlegs is actually happy compared to all of the other Viking villagers. And it turns out that Fishlegs actually kidnapped his dragon and kept her locked away in a stall. And then eventually Hiccup accidentally lets her out and she flies off to where the other dragons are migrating. And it turns out that the dragons migrate so that they can lay their eggs. And this is actually really cute, but it turns out that dragon eggs actually explode. So it's a good thing that the dragons migrated, otherwise they actually would have destroyed the village. Well, if it weren't for the fact that Meatlug had to lay her eggs in the dragon stall.
But boy dragons don't lay eggs.
Yeah, your boy dragon is a girl dragon.
Okay, that actually explains a few things.
Which made it so that those eggs did explode and destroy the village. And if just one batch of eggs ends up destroying the village, imagine what all the batches of eggs would have done. Hiccup explores this new land and realizes that Toothless is not there, so he decides to hitch a ride with Hookfang, and in the process he starts the return migration. And unfortunately, part of the problem is that the babies can't actually fly yet because they haven't learned how. And then Hiccup gets an idea that they use an abandoned shipwrecked Viking ship to carry the babies back to Berk. And thus, the Vikings finally have a reason to celebrate. Their dragons have come home and they're all happy. Well, everyone except for Hiccup because he couldn't find Toothless. Turns out Toothless didn't go to the cove where dragons would lay eggs. He ended up deep sea diving trying to search for Hiccup's helmet, which he lost at the beginning of the movie. Speaking of, you would think that would make the helmet important enough to bring back into future installments, but they didn't. Hiccup never wears the helmet with the exception of in the first movie and in this short film. Other than that, the helmet's never seen. But anyway, I thought that was a really nice gift. Not really because of the helmet, but because it was a really nice gesture to show how much Toothless cares about Hiccup. And that's really cool. And then it's actually made even better when Toothless reveals how much he actually cares about Hiccup. He destroys his prosthetic tail, essentially proving that he would rather never fly again than fly without Hiccup. Of course, they do this concept again in the third movie, but they reveal then that it's because Toothless never really had a reason to want to fly on his own. So, I really enjoy that. Toothless doesn't really have a calling that makes him want to abandon Hiccup, and he would rather not fly at all rather than be without Hiccup. And that's really cool. And thus the short film ends. Now, I actually really like this short film, but there is one thing that I do hate about it. In the short film, we see that both Meatlug and Stormfly have laid eggs, and yet throughout the rest of the franchise, we don't see any of those babies. I mean, granted, we do have fish meat in the third How to Train Your Dragon movie, but that's a completely different batch of eggs. We don't see any of the eggs that the dragons laid in this short film. But overall, I really enjoyed this short film. It's probably my favorite of the How to Train Your Dragon shorts, and it's definitely worth watching, especially around the holiday season. It's really cute, it's funny, and of course, it's packed with emotions that you would expect to find in a Christmas special. And I really love the message of this short film, which is, what can you do when your family's not there to celebrate with you? You celebrate your family. So there you have it. That's my review for How to Train Your Dragon, Gift of the Night Fury. Let me know what you guys thought about this short film in the comments down below. And with that out of the way, I hope you enjoyed today's video. And if you did, make sure that you like and subscribe so you can keep up to date on all things DreamWorks. And with that in mind, I hope you are all staying safe out there. And I will see you all in my next video. Bye-bye.
You're right. We are Vikings. We are tough. Most of the time.